NFL Week 9 was crazy. We set a record for the most games to end in game-winning field goal. And did I say Week 9? I meant Week 10. I am an absolute idiot. Okay, so Browns-Ravens. That was a game-winning field goal. The Browns literally led for like 40 seconds of the game, but it was the right 40 seconds. As you can see, the Ravens took a huge first quarter lead, and they ultimately blew it. I saw that game at the barbershop. Packers steal. No, that wasn't a game-winning field goal. Texans Bengals. That was a game-winning field goal. As time expired after the Bengals tied it up, the Houston was leading by 10. Bengals tied it straight back up, but then you see them come back and score the field goal. Lions Chargers is a game-winning field goal. Falcons Cardinals, Commanders Seahawks, Broncos Bills. Jets Raiders was not a game-winning field goal. Was Panthers Bears a game-winning field goal? No, it wasn't. It was not. Okay, so we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Yeah, 6. And remember, there were 14 games this week, so about half of them went to game-winning field goals, and many other ones are still competitive. As in, like, the losing team actually had a chance to come back with a touchdown, but there were no game-winning touchdowns this week. But there's a lot of game-winning field goals, which obviously means that they were 3-point games or less. Looking at the standings, you can see one thing: the AFC is so much more competitive than the NFC. Looking at the AFC, Kansas City Chiefs are number 1 seed, the 7-2. Ravens are 7-3. Jaguars are 6-3, and so are the Dolphins. Jaguars do have head-to-head over Miami based on that strength of victory. Looking at it, Pittsburgh Steelers and Cleveland Browns both 6-3, but remember, the Steelers did beat the Browns. So that's why, you have that seeing difference. And the Houston Texans are the number 7 spot at 5-4. They're 5-4 in the number 7 spot. Remember how bad the Houston Texans were last year. My internet cut out. The Houston Texans last year were 3-13-1. And they could have been really so much worse. The Texans, they won 2 out of their last 3 games to end off the season. And then in 2023, start off on a losing streak. But now they're coming back in hot. And again, it's hard to tell if they're going to make it there. The Bengals are also 5-4. But remember, Houston beat the Bengals literally this week. And that allows the Houston Texans the playoff spot and denies it for the Bengals. Colts, Bills, and Raiders are all 5-5. Conference record is how Indianapolis beats them. And Buffalo beat Vegas head-to-head. So that's why Buffalo would get that. But again, these are now teams out of the playoff hunt. It's just something to consider. What I will say is that conference records are often and division records are oftentimes weaker than head-to-head victories, because a head-to-head victory you can't undo, and you're permanently going to have a tiebreaker. Like, Texans are always going to have a tiebreaker over the Bengals. Bills will always have a tiebreaker over the Raiders. And if it's a divisional game and you've only played them once, again, not surefire yet, because they can come back and it was a division record. So it's hard to say a lot of tiebreakers are not set in stone yet. This is where it is right now. Chargers, Jets, and Broncos are all 4-5, but I want you to understand something. I want you to understand how Broncos are 14th in the division, and they're 4-5. They're only 1 game below 500. But what you have to understand is that the Chargers beat the Jets head-to-head on a Monday Night Football game. I'm pretty sure it was the one. Actually, I'm pretty sure it was week 9 is when the Chargers beat the Jets. Yeah, it was week 9, and they lost week 10 to the Lions in the game-winning field goal. Had they won, the Chargers would have been 5-4, but I don't know if they would have been in a playoff spot. Jets beat the Broncos head-to-head, and then the division tiebreaker was used to eliminate Denver. And again, the Jets beat the Broncos head-to-head. Titans are 3-6. That's the second worst in the entire conference. And the Patriots are 2-8 because of the Patriots. That's pretty surprising though. A 3-6 team is so low. They're at 15. Pretty much, Patriots have no way of making the playoffs. But I don't think the Titans can make it either, just given how competitive this AFC really is. Yes, it is true that 0.556 is enough to make the playoffs. 10-7 should be enough. I doubt 9-8 is going to get you in this year, unfortunately. And I'm just interested in seeing how this AFC is. I'm just interested in seeing how this AFC is. Now, in the NFC, Eagles are the best team in football right now. They're 8-1. Lions are 7-2. 49ers are 6-3. They beat Seattle based on division record. They haven't played against Seattle yet head-to-head. And again, the Seahawks are 6-3, but I really think that they're going to struggle. That they're just going to have a struggle because their schedule is going to get a lot harder. They do beat the Cowboys based on conference record, who are also 6-3. New Orleans Saints are winning the South, but they're 5-5. And again, that's not really that surprising because the NFC South kind of sucks. I mean, they let an 8-9 team into the playoffs last year, and again, for a brief time, I thought the Buccaneers could make it back, but then they went on a 4-game losing streak. Even though they snapped it, they're still well out of playoff. Actually, no, they're not, and that's scary. Anyway, the Vikings are 6-4. Remember, 5-game winning streak. They had an abysmal start to their season. So it's hard to say whether or not Vikings are one of the best teams in football yet, or if they've just been on a streak. Because looking at their victories, they beat the Bears, 49ers, Packers, Falcons, Saints. Really, only the 49ers are a considerable team, and even they won a 3-game losing streak. So it's hard to tell after this game, are the 49ers back? It's it's really hard to tell for a 49ers fan whether or not the Seahawks pose a threat to them. It's hard to say because remember, the Seahawks won, but they barely won, and they lost power rankings as a result of that loss because they lost ground in the power rankings because of that loss. Because even though they won because it was a game-winning field goal against the Commanders, but again, Buccaneers 4-5, they're one spot out of the playoffs. And again, I don't think that if they make it, it's going to be as a wild card. They might take over from the Saints. If they, it's hard, again, it's hard to tell. As I made a video, a lot of streaks were broken this week, but can they keep it that way, or will they go back to normal? Which in some cases you want to go back to where you were if you just lost a winning streak. If you lost a losing streak, you want to just go back to the way that you always were. Commanders are 4-6, and so are the Falcons. But remember, the Commanders beat the Falcons head to head. Packers are 3-6, and so are the Rams. But remember, Packers beat the Rams 23. Bears are 3-7. Giants and Cardinals are 2-8, but the Giants had the comeback victory over Arizona, and the Panthers are in last place at 1-8. I just want you to notice something now. Buccaneers 4-5, spot 8. In the AFC, 4-5 is spots 12 through 14. 3-6, which is, remember, it's spot 15 in the AFC, 11 and 12 in the NFC. The NFC is a bit less competitive. It's hard to tell on the surface, but once you go deeper down, you can see a lot of the AFC teams are hovering around 500, leaving very few of them below. Whereas, okay.